Welcome to my Minecraft. So we're gonna wake up in my little apartment here. I've got a whole city set up here, and it's not really a city so much as a town. It's not quite finished. What I'm wanting to show you today is something a little different. I really enjoy Star Trek, so I've gone and built myself a starship. Let's take a look around here. This is my town. We're just going to give you a quick glance at it real quick. What I really wanted to show you is hidden away. I've got a thing for hiding things away. Out here on our marina, I have a fishing shack here. A fishing shop, fishing store. It's loaded down with everything that you need for fishing and going boating and whatnot. Now in the back of my store here, you would think is a storeroom, but it's not. It's actually a secret passageway to an underwater, what was going to be a city, but has only gotten a couple of rooms. We want to take a look around the store real quick. I've got everything that you store here. You would think is a storeroom, but it's not. It's actually a secret passageway to an underwater, what was going to be a city, but has only gotten a couple of rooms. Got my underwater tunnel here. I decided it'd be a great idea to wall it off with a wall of lava. Now how am I going to get past this? I don't know. It's a video game. Go figure, there's a door right here. Here's a little button. Now I've got to hurry back over here to get back past the lava. Unfortunately, lava takes its sweet time clearing out. I could have just done water, but you can walk through the water without turning it off. Now if we look back, it's going to turn back on. There we go. Back on our merry little way at the bottom of the sea. I was going to try to do an Atlantis type place, but building underwater and clearing the water cubes is pretty difficult. So instead I moved on. I only got a couple of shelters and built under the water. One house, and then I've got this little forested area. What we're really going for here is the end portal. And welcome to the transporter room. I figured that the best place to build a starship would be in the end world. So let's take a look around here. Such a little ship, it is very, very crowded and easy to get lost. What I'm looking for here is an airlock so that we can get an outside view of the ship. I've just managed to keep walking past it over and over. I've got it set up so that one door has to be closed before the other will open. See, closed and open. I put a little gangplank here out to the end world so that you can walk out to the end world from the ship. Looks like I've got the warp nacelles turned off. We'll have to get you a view of those turned on here shortly. I'm all about the redstone and the functionality of using that in order to make my worlds interactive. So this has a couple of small controls to it. It's got a main engineering, a bridge, and from both you can control main power, turn the lights on, and the ability to turn the warp nacelles and impulse engines on. On the bridge you can turn the nacelles, impulse engines, and main power on and off independently of one another. Now we've got my little shuttlecraft here. If you look inside, I've got some peoples in it. They are accessible. I don't think I'm going to go into them just yet, though. They're nothing special. Now we're going to go over to main engineering. I wanted to show you those primary power controls. I designed the warp core based off of the Enterprise Ds. And I figured it would be a little bit more difficult to get type of warp core that Voyager had in it. Oh, look at me, I'm stuck. Alright, back to main engineering. So this is our off button. It controls all of the power, warp nacelles, impulse, and lighting. The only thing that's staying lit is my dilithium core there. You see, my dilithium core. So we're going to come back here and turn the lights back on. Kind of look around as those come back on for us. Next thing we're going to want to do is go up to the bridge and turn the power back on for the warp nacelles and impulse engines. My bridge isn't really a standard Starfleet bridge. It's missing a view screen. It's a little bit bigger. But it does have your standard science stations and propulsion stations, helm. The captain's seat is in the middle like a normal starship. That's power on, and there we go. That should have turned on the impulse engines and warp nacelles. Yep, that's my impulse. And that's the warp nacelles. Again, we've got main power up here as well as in engineering. There we go. All the power's back off. Turn it back on. Now, because this is the end world, I don't really have to worry about mobs spawning on me. But this design is really something I use in all of my buildings in order to keep mobs from spawning and attacking. So basically in all of my living areas in the cities and towns and buildings and whatnot, even on the streets, they can't spawn on you and it's a safe place to play. Here's another airlock. I only put 2 in. And this one I really just put in so that I could easily access the outside for this video. Being in the end world, this starship is constantly being invaded by Endermen. There we go, there's an outside view. You can see the warp nacelles are powered up now. And we've got the impulse engines all powered up in the top right. There we are. All right. let's head back in. There's a couple other things I'd like to show you. We've got a 10 forward. It's not on deck 10. Unfortunately, the ship only has about 7 levels on it. I believe 10 forward is on deck 2. But I'm going to go back to the bridge here, make sure everything's powered up correctly. And then let's run back outside and show you what it looks like with the power off. The airlock systems are independent of the main power. That's really the only way I could get it to work. I wanted to set up a red alert system, and when the main power was off, lock up all of the airlocks so that you could not enter or exit the ship until the power came back on. But I was working with very limited space. And that's what she looks like with the power off. I play a Star Trek video game, Star Trek Fleet Command, and my alliance is called Exodus. So that's what I'm naming the ship, Exodus. I really wanted to make enough room so that my entire crew could have a room in each, but unfortunately there's only enough room for about 20 people there, and I don't want to pick favorites. Alright, so we're going to go back to main engineering here and turn the power back on. Here is our warp core. Alright, so there's a couple other things I wanted to show you. Let's get back up to the main decks. Most of these are crew quarters and empty rooms. I've been working on this ship so long that once I got it finished, I was kind of in a rush to get it finished. So it's only got the main areas in it. This is our sick bay. We've got a scanning table and several sick bays. Another room with sick beds in it. And this is going to be our doctor's office, where he can do his research and study whatever he needs to study. Back to the front of deck 2, we have, I guess we can call it 2 forward. It's going to be the galley and bar for the ship. There's not a whole lot to it. We've got a bunch of tables, cotton that's been stacked up in the back to represent branding, and a bar shape. It kind of gives you the idea of a bar. And there's our pool tables and our crew. Now, if you'd get out of my way, I'd show you the kitchen. Here we are. I've got several furnaces loaded down with food there. I've got a campfire that you can load full of food. And these chests have just about everything you could need to make anything you want. As close as I could come to a replicator as I could. Alright. So a couple other things. If you look up here and around, everything is very well lit. I don't use exposed lighting. And that requires that I put all of the lighting in between the floors. So these are what I'm calling Jeffries tubes. They give me access to and from the middle layers of the ship in between the decks. There's about another deck in between each one. So I say this thing is 7 decks. It's probably really about 14. But half of it is wiring and lighting. It gets really convoluted through here. Give me just a second and I will give you a good view. See, there's my lighting. The purple are the lines for the impulse engines. The red is the lines for emergency power off. I don't see warp engines power line here. Let's get back out of here, and I'll go to a couple other mid-level decks and show you what those look like. It's all going to be about the same. So let's go all the way to the bottom. There we go. All lighting. And towards the front there we have the backside of our deflector dish. I wanted to have that independently powered and controlled from the bridge, but again I had limited space to work with, and this wiring takes up a lot of time and space. I can only tell you that it took me the majority of my time to get the lighting alone wired up. Here's our warp core again, and some more Jeffries tubes. Another guy in my way, another guy in my way. Let's see here. Alright, so what I'm going to show you next is the hydroponics bay. I really wanted to kind of experiment and see if a village could survive in the end world, independently of the real world, or the real Minecraft world, I guess. So I put everything in the ship that a village would need to survive. So we've got our crops here so that they can reproduce, and plenty of rooms for them to copulate in. And then I'm going to add more to this later on. Otherwise, I've pretty much shown you everything on the ship. With as long as it took me to make, didn't think it would take 15 minutes to show off. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the real world, the real Minecraft world, back to my apartment. We have an in-gate set up here. There was originally an Ender Dragon, obviously, and I screwed up. The game glitched out and gave me 2 Ender Dragons to play with. So I thought I could kill one of them and leave the other one there to play with later, but apparently no. And it was all a dream. I'll leave my little apartment here. Kind of go back to the city. Like I said, everything here has controls to it. Every block has a power subtransistor, and we can go into all that later. I've got shops and power plant there. Come back next time and we can go over a little bit more.